I know, sorry about last week, guys, but by the time I got home from my event, I was completely drained. But we're back on Monday, and, well, let's just get started. Kent is like the most butthurt motherfucker I've ever had the pain of listening to. My proof? This week's topic. Uniformitarianism. Definitionally speaking, it's the theory that changes in the Earth's crust during geological history have resulted from the action of continuous and uniform processes. That's an Oxford Dictionary quote. I swear, if he brings up the geologic column as the focus of this, I'm going to make fun of him for 20 minutes just to see how hard I can make all of you laugh. I wasn't kidding before, but for now, I'll take him seriously for the moment. Go on, Kent. Let's see what you got.
One of them is the silly idea of what's called uniformitarianism.
Yes. We know what your topic is. What do you got on it?
Let's see. Did that little creek make that gash? No.
Actually, yes, it did, in a way. The little creek was blocked off and a dam was made. That creek water then overflowed and tore the gash in the dam. When the water subsided, the creek came back to normal-ish. You can tell it was a dam of the creek because of the massive amount of sediment that had washed downstream from the creek and was not removed. So in the end, all of that was caused by the creek after it was blocked. So yeah, the creek is what caused the gash.
Did that little creek make that canyon? No.
Possibly. Mainly since I don't know what river that is or where it is. That being said, it would appear that yes, it did. Given the size and how many layers of rock there are in the picture, that's not a creek, that's a river. You can see there are rapids in the water as well, so it's moving pretty quick. So in the short term, without looking at it in depth, yes, that river carved out the canyon.
All right. Tonight we have a special guest. I saved my throat here. Justin Wilson in California.
Another guest. Kent must be running out of steam. Anyway, Justin Wilson.
Justin, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, I'm Justin Wilson. I enjoy doing content on the story of angels and alien worlds and things of that sort. So,
wait, what?
I'm sorry. What did you just say?
Hey, I'm Justin Wilson. I enjoy doing content on the story of angels and alien worlds and things of that sort. So,
aliens. You want to talk about aliens? Now, wait just 1 second. If there are alien worlds, that means Earth isn't young and the Bible is false. He can't be talking about that, right?
When it comes to being biblically accurate, I look deep into the scriptures to actually see how things developed.
You mean how it evolved? Interesting choice of words there.
One thing that I've been really into lately is the hydroplate theory, which makes sense of not just fossils and the things about the continents, but it also makes sense of our astronomical world, or just how the solar system is as far as comets and things of that sort. So yeah, that's what I'm about as of lately.
Hydroplate theory. You want to know what this bullshit is? Okay. Picture plate tectonics happening all at once, with entire continents shifting and moving all at the same time across the entire planet. I'm not joking at all. This would mean that 1,770 miles of hot molten rock was exposed under the now Atlantic Ocean, while on the other side a similar amount of ocean was caved under the Americas and Asia, while Australia and Antarctica both had even more exposed magma come out to aid in boiling the oceans away. That much land movement and friction would have boiled the oceans dry within a few months, and the entire planet turned to magma in about another month or two, leaving Noah nothing to float on. We already proved this. Fucking hell, guys.
Well, you mentioned the hydroplate theory. For those that don't know, Dr. Walt Brown was an absolute genius and a great creation teacher.
There's an oxymoron. If he were actually a genius, he would have seen the basic issues I pointed out with a massive heat problem. To put it in perspective, get a cast iron pan. Put it on your stove, preferably without any oil in it. Don't want too much splatter. That would represent the Atlantic Ocean or the Indian Ocean, or, just pick an ocean. Now, the distance of that pan, let's say 12-inch skillet, the Atlantic is, again, 1,770 miles across, so over 9.3 million feet. The ocean is 11,962 feet deep, so the depth is about 0.1% of the width. So that is 12/100ths of a foot to represent the ocean. Let's go overboard. And when the pan is red hot, pour 1/8 of an inch of water in there. And then turn the heat off, just to make things as helpful as we can for Kent. And rep all the oceans in the world at once. How much do you want to bet that water is gone before the pan is cold?
The hydroplate theory by Walt Brown was fabulous. Let me call that up, Justin. It's 4.5 minutes long, I believe.
I won't make you sit through that. I did find the original, and I'll link it below. In short, he claims that there was a massive ocean under the Earth's crust that was released via a crack in the Pangaea supercontinent. That the water jetted out and went 20 miles up into the atmosphere, turning to snow that caused the polar ice caps and buried the mammoths. Then the mud came out, and that mixed with water that then buried the dinosaurs and made the geologic column. Things he doesn't take into account is the heat of the water close to the mantle, the new material at the bottom of the seafloor, the layers containing a specific sequence of fossils in his mud flood, and the heat of the rocks and the mud that is now ejected, the friction of the mud on the wooden ark that he is claiming was worldwide, the fact that the mammoth fossils are found above the rest of the geologic column and not below it, not to mention that they are trying to debunk plate tectonics while describing plate tectonics. I swear, you can't make this shit up.
The earth, definitely, the Bible teaches there was water under the crust of the earth, and that the fountains of the deep broke open. If the water escaped from underneath the crust would sink down in, explaining why the earth sped up a little bit to give us 365 days per year instead of 360.
We have a new thing to talk about.
Holy shit.
I know, right? I am so used to Ken saying the same shit all the... No, wait. 360 days. That's the Egyptian calendar. The Egyptian system was on a 360-day calendar, made so that there would be an even number of days in a month. We were always on a 12-month system, so that there were 3 months to each season. But the Egyptians weren't the only ones using it. So did India and Mesoamerica. Rome at the time was on a lunar calendar, but likewise had 12 months. However, even back then, and before the time of Noah, dating back to over 3000 BCE, they knew there was a discrepancy. Rome added 10 days to the year, while the Egyptians added 5, called the epigomenal days, literally meaning inserted at intervals, with Rome adding their 10 days at the discretion of the Pontifex Maximus. Egypt just added the 5 days in at the end. Either way, they always knew the year was longer than the sum of their months, and Julius Caesar made the Julian calendar to fix things and make it so that they would always be in sync. Shared it with Egypt, and we had a new, mostly perfect calendar. But the speed of the Earth's rotation was never in question. At all. It didn't speed up during a flooding event. Besides, Kent thinks all the water went back underground into the same oceans he claims were there, and thus the Earth would have slowed back down again. I find it funny that this show is about saying uniformitarianism is false while they state that what they see in the present is the key to what happened in the past. It's almost like they have no idea what they're talking about. Because they have no idea what they're talking about.
The closer you are towards the center, the faster you spin. The wider you get, the slower you spin. Just like how if someone who is, let's say doing a spin, if they have their arms out, they spin slower. They tuck their arms in, they spin faster. And scientists have been saying that that the Earth has been actually moving a couple of seconds faster, or nanoseconds a little faster, and there has to be a reason behind that.
Funny enough, yes, this is accurate and inaccurate. So the Earth does go through periods where we speed up a tiny bit and slow down a tiny bit. Over time and overall, we are slowing down. This is due to the tidal effects of the moon and the sun. The sun and moon affect our tidal shifts, high tide and low tide over the oceans. When the two are aligned, you get what is called a spring high tide, with the waters getting as high as they will, but this is pronounced slightly more when there is a new moon with the sun and moon on the same side of the planet. These cause a drag over the surface, which slows down the planet's spin over time. Don't expect us to ever see that. It's so slight. Another rotation that happens on the planet is the solid core of the Earth. As particulates cool inside the Earth, they fall to the core due to gravity. This causes the mass of the core to get higher, and thus why the Earth's core is spinning faster than the Earth itself. But the Earth isn't speeding up its rotation to add an entire 5 extra days to our rotation period per year. As mentioned before, that is not why we were on a 360-day calendar. The 360 was just so that there was an even number of days in a month, and not everyone used that calendar anyway. This show is supposed to be about uniformitarianism, and now it's about plate tectonics. I have to start a new intro for this if this keeps up. From here, Justin goes on an absolute banquet of word salad, several minutes long. But it's more to the tune of him claiming Pangea split apart to cause the flood and move the continents, and using the mid-Atlantic ridge as well as the ocean ridges in the Indian Ocean to say they were where the water shut out from. But he does say something really stupid.
So we've all kind of seen, what we call the Mid-Atlantic Ridge here. This kind of like cut. It looks like this sort of, kind of tear on the Earth, like the Earth was tearing apart. And this is due to the entire continent or pretty much the entire Earth being covered by granite at one point. And then once that water that was underneath the surface of the Earth, or the crust of the Earth, once that got released open and the crack kind of split open around the Earth, it caused this compression. So just imagine a rubber band sort of just popping. The rubber band will kind of shrink. So that's what the entire continent did. All that granite compressed just like a rubber band and shrunk into the continents that we see today.
Sorry, that was a bit long. I didn't want them to come back and say I took him out of context. So, you saw the picture he was doing with this. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that the ocean bed didn't come out boiling hot with lava to boil the oceans away. He is claiming that the continents snapped apart rapidly when the water shot up and out of the crack. That would mean the continents snapped to the sides thousands of miles. Who needs a flood at that point? I want you to think of what would happen to you if the ground you are standing on suddenly moved 500 miles to the west. No, fuck it. 1 mile to the west. What do you all think would happen? He is describing a movement on such a massive scale it wouldn't just boil the oceans. Oh, no. The planet would be obliterated by a force that intense. The entire planet, not just split in half. We're talking turned into stellar dust. The Earth splitting apart at the force he is talking about would make the Earth a debris field in orbit around the fucking sun. Who needs a flood at that point? Everyone's dead. And this is the stupidity of these guys. They don't even follow through with what would actually happen. They just see a thing, make up ridiculous shit, stamp it solved, and good to go. All the while, they're trying to say that this thing here in the present is the key to what happened in the past. AKA Uniformitarianism, just the stupidest ways to talk about it entirely. He keeps going on a diatribe of making up some of the most absolutely insane made-up trash. Continents floating on water, all of the movement liquefying the once solid interior of the Earth with all the frictional heat on the surface and ignoring the frictional heat transferred to the surface. It's bad. It's really bad. You can go to Kent's channel to watch it, but I can't stomach watching it more than just once in an editing. It makes me sick how someone could be this incredulous and ignorant. Angel, do they bring up anything else here noteworthy? I mean, they are already using the thing they're trying to debunk, so, I mean, please?
And what's so fascinating about this is that as things get more liquefied, they get more compressed. Now, one thing that a lot of people don't realize is something that there's this big lie called convection. And convection is this idea that as things get hot, it rises, right? And then as it cools down, it sinks.
I can't. I just can't. I mean, I want to cry for this guy's parents to have hurt this man or dropped him on his head one too many times or a dozen too many times. Water is an exception to the rule when it gets more dense and compressed in liquid form. Metals are not the exception. Metals shrink when they solidify. That means they get smaller. Water to ice is a rare exception to the norm where it expands, it gets solid. His second point of convection being a lie, I mean, hot air rises. Cold air does not rise. Set something on fire and watch the smoke making the air currents over the fire rise up. This idea spreads to everything else. As particulates cool in a mixture, they will sink to the bottom. So like a pool of water, at the bottom of the pool you will have colder water than at the surface. It will only be slightly cooler, but it will be measurably cooler. Same with air. I mean, we use ceiling fans to circulate the air in a room just because of that. Did you know you're supposed to use your ceiling fan in the winter? You put it in reverse, so the warm air at the ceiling of your room can circulate down to where you are and warm the room. Convection is why ceiling fans have a reverse switch. Oh my god, I can't take any more of this guy's idiocy. Oh jeez, fuck.
And one thing that the hydroplate theory kind of explained, or at least made sense of, is this idea of the crossover depth. The crossover depth. Basically, when things get to a certain depth of deepness of water or something like that, it compresses and it doesn't float back up. So that's the crossover depth. There's a point where things don't get, things that are compressible, like a beach balloon, those things don't float back up. It just keeps going down. So if something is compressible, it will get more dense and more dense and more heavy and more heavy. So when it comes to the mantle, They think that, okay, the magma that's kind of flowing inside, it's just going to come right back up. But the thing is, once it's past the crossover depth, it doesn't come back up. It only shrinks. It only gets deeper and deeper towards the core of the Earth.
I think I had an aneurysm. Like, really. Okay, dumb fuck. If things only sink past the crossover depth, where will the stuff go that's below it? Something has to make room for it, and that thing must go up. So yeah, there's a crossover depth. That's why there isn't just one singular convection current going on in the magma in the mantle and the core. There's multiple. Some stuff gets too compressed and sinks. Other stuff has to make its way and it gets pushed up. Closer to the surface, the magma will be pushed up. So you have two layers rotating in different directions and still causing that exchange. That convection you are literally describing while saying there is no convection, you absolute tool.
Oh, harder, Daddy.
What? Sorry. I was going a bit angry there. My apologies. When someone as stupid as Kent brings on a new contender for the dumbest young Earth creationist, it just irritates me. But yeah, there's a crossover depth about 200 kilometers down for basalt and about 400 kilometers for other materials. The mantle of the Earth is only 30 kilometers down and extends down a lot further than that. You are all lucky I cut out a bunch of his bullshit. I mean, it was a whole lot worse than what I just gave you.
This phenomenon doesn't happen, but it's happening, which is why the Earth is sort of shrinking. So as things get deeper towards the Earth, other things have to replace, where it used to be.
No shit, Sherlock. Convection. And how is that shrinking? You just said everything is still there and is replaced, so why would anything be shrinking? Listen to yourself.
So what's happening now with as far as like earthquakes and all the movements that's happening, it's really just the Earth shifting. It's not drifting anymore.
I can't. I mean, I just can't. I can't. He's saying the same shit in different ways. I mean, I can't.
So the conventional thinking of plate tectonics is that the plates are drifting away still.
What did he say?
So the conventional thinking of plate tectonics is that the plates are drifting away still.
They're not drifting away. Drifting away from what? They're shifting, yes, but not drifting away completely. It's both into and away from the other plates. Like the North American plate and the Pacific plate are colliding and pushing in on one another. What do you think they're floating off the planet to journey to the other end of the galaxy where no man has gone before? I mean, every word that comes out of this guy is just such gibberish. There is a saving grace in here, though, and that comes from Kent himself.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that, Justin. Bible says...
Kent didn't interact hardly at all with Justin. Not hardly at all. Then, with zero fucks, he goes right into his own slides. Almost like he knows that Justin was spouting absolute bullshit. When I first saw this, I lost my mind laughing. Like, holy crap, that was some funny shit. But this is even funnier.
Thou hast set a bound that they may not pass over, that they turn not again to cover the earth. God put a boundary called the beach. Oceans can't flood the world anymore.
So a bunch of sand or rock on your coastline means water is barred from coming any further inland. Sprinkle some sand around your house and you will never have flooding issues again. Pull up a video of coastal hurricanes. You'll see some water come up past that barrier of his.
talking tonight about uniformitarianism. Is it true that the present is the key to the past?
What?
Oh, take me back to the start.
Yeah, no shit. I mean, we just went through most of a video review where they talked about the past and why they think the present looks the way it is, and now they want to bring up the main topic. Surely, Kent understands it now, right? Surely he can't say it's bullshit, right? Right?
No. The flood of Noah rearranged everything.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. I'm done. Done. This video's done. Fuck this. I will not sit back down.
No. I'm fucking done. Kent is just being too stupid this week. Look, no. I am Corsi, and this is the Fluffy Atheist. Hit the like and subscribe buttons if you like this or something, and just remember, a little research goes a long way. Let me do it for you and not these morons.